Al, we're live? Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regular scheduled Taber Town Council meeting for September 26, 2022. I will call the meeting to order and ask for an adjustment, addition to the agenda, actually. For item 7.6, adding our guest and visitor, Mr. Adrian Oma, Minister of Saya County, Kenya, out of the Governor's Office. 7.6 for that particular agenda item, please. So we can add that agenda item as amended, please. O-U-M-E. Councillor Sorensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to make a motion that council adopts the agenda as amended to allow for the opportunity to undertake closed session items. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
That works too, yeah. Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
prior to the timing of delegation at 5 p.m.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you.
They're a little gentle.
All right. All right. There are no public hearings. Councillor Beckering? Councillor Beckering?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In order to follow proper protocol, I think the amendment to the agenda is comprised of two parts, right?
Correct.
To close session and also to add the agenda, Mr. Adrian Oma as a delegation to speak to council.
All right, that's correct. So you'd like to add that public, or sort of that friendly amendment?
Sure, I would.
All right, Councillor Sorensen? All right. Amended motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 3, no public hearings. Item 4, adoption of the minutes. Item 4.1, minutes of regular meeting of council, September 12th, 2022. Mr. Thibault.
So just the regular minutes of council from September 12th in front of council for your consideration.
All right, thank you. Any questions arising? Councillor Rudd?
Make a motion to accept those minutes as presented, Mr. Mayor.
Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. And just for the record, to confirm that Councillor Firth is not able to be in attendance today. All right, on to item number 5, business arising from the minutes. There are none. Item 5.1, effluent irrigation, the gun range motocross track area. Mr. Thibault.
So this item was put forward as a standing item request, and Mr. Gary Shear is here to speak to it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shear.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Good afternoon.
As we requested, we looked at the effluent supply to those two areas. The first we need amendment to our approval, and that amendment approval would be about 2 years to go through our process. We'd have to also start with the engineering study to show this, what we're going to do with it, the process, how much would be needed, and what would public involvement be. We'd also have to have open houses and public input into all this. So there's a long process to start. Then when we looked at the legislation or approval for the treating of the effluent, it would need an additional treatment of disinfection, which we were just estimated that would have to come out if you decided to move forward with this, about $300,000 to $500,000 in additional treatment. So we were asked to look at the feasibility of this, but it is not a cheap process, so I look for council's input on this.
All right, thank you. Councillor Bruin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Gary, for all your work you've done on this. Kind of my vision of this was quite a bit simpler. Would be to tie into the main line at the closest pivot point, lay above aluminum pipe, fill a reservoir there that they could pump out of. Not all, like you've got a pump house here, you've got everything quite elaborate. And I think it could be a much simpler way of doing it if we could get permission to use the effluent for irrigation only. And because you can get the main line for free, I don't think it's half a mile away from the pivot point, lay it above ground, fill the reservoir, perhaps work with the MD to help build a bigger reservoir. They set their pump station up themselves, they pump the water they need to the trees and grass.
So anytime we would store effluent, it has to be properly lined, has to be properly distributed, and we would have to have our approval again to do so. So that's the first step, is applying for this and going through their process. They still would need disinfection. It says so, read in that approval requirement as shown. You would still be paying that amount for the extra treatment, no matter what. Even if it was just to store.
The other question to that, is there potable water at the treatment plant down there at all?
No, not a delegate.
We don't pump any water down there at all?
No.
Okay, just trying to find an answer for their water problems out there.
It's almost cheaper if they got a tank to fill up and if somebody come deliver water and then pump it.
Well, they do use a tank, and they do
Yeah.
have a reservoir there now, but you know how much irrigation, how much water you can go through quickly.
Yeah, it's just that this is effluent irrigation. There's a big difference, and it's all governed through our approval through Alberta Environment and Parks. There isn't a lot we can do other than go through their process, and it might not even be approved at the end of that.
And the cost of getting approval,
It would be about $40,000
just to get,
just to look at that approval. Yes,
is there any option of maybe pumping from the river for
that
water?
we'd have to apply through Alberta Environment too. But my understanding is all the water in the Oldman River is allocated for. So there's a process for that, and that could take some time too.
I'm just trying to find an answer for them to make it better.
I know.
They have a beautiful motocross track, and the gun range is unbelievable. The motocross track has an option of perhaps holding the nationals there if they could get water there. I counted almost 100 campers out there at one event this summer, and it draws a lot of people to the community. So I was just hoping there was some way we could help them out that way.
All right, thank you, Councillor Rudd.
Very similar to Councillor Bruin's comments, Mr. Mayor. I just wonder, is there any other water available? Would be the general question. I mean, we've mentioned the river. Is there irrigation ditch closer by? Is there irrigation pipe closer by? None of that's feasible.
No, there's no irrigation pipe I'm aware of that crosses the river. It's all canal when it comes off of Tabor Reservoir, and then it flows into the river.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the only option is to actually pump from the river.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So, and one other follow up. This did not look into partnerships with anybody else
No.
or anything, and that would seem to make sense that if we do entertain more study on this or more any other proposals, that we look at the partnership side of
So
things for.
it is your approval. It's not a partnership with anybody, so you would have to be the partner to, or the person to, or the approver to look at this.
To look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
All right, thank you, Councillor Beckering.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It seems to me that the proposed suggestion is just not feasible, Mr. Scheer. And I know the situation there quite well. There's just no way you're going to get a license from Alberta Environment to pump out the river because the river's full. It's all been allocated. I think we better put our thinking caps on for a while and think about it some more because it's going to be a really tough nut to crack, I believe. I had not personally thought about the effluent side of it. I thought it would be pure enough to do what we wanted to do, but I guess not. And to go through the process of a study and engineering and the cost of additional disinfectant, it's just not feasible. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Scheer, I did have some conversation with Mr. Tebow also about this, but I'm thinking that all things considered, this is maybe an IMDP topic, a discussion that's actually coming up soon. I did suggest that, and if all are in agreement with that, I think that would be a good place to have that discussion point. Being the Tabor Shooting Foundation range is right next door. Not sure if they've got an interest or not, but I mean, that would be the place to discuss that as a possibility. And as Councillor Beckert said, if there's any future interest or possibilities going forward. All right, Mr. Tebow, I think that was kind of your same take on that, I believe also, right?
Yep, we can, the administration can put it on that agenda, and we can
Right.
consider this complete at this point for our purposes and bring it up in the
All right,
any other
fair enough.
environment.
Thank you. Councillor Beckert?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm prepared to make a motion
All right.
that council refers this matter to the IMDP meeting, which will be held fairly quickly, I believe, and discuss it with the MD delegates and see if we can find a solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 6, bylaws. Item 6.1, bylaw 15, 2022. Mr. Tebow.
So this bylaw, it looks like Blake might be doing some type of presentation on. From what I recall, there was no adjustments. This is the second and third reading for this bylaw. I believe there was no adjustments made from the original. Was there one? Okay, so Blake is here to speak to second and third reading if council had any questions.
All right, thank you. Welcome, Blake.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Good afternoon.
I am here today with the recommendation that Council gives second and third reading to Bylaw 15-2022, Clean Energy Improvement Tax. At the August 15th regular Council meeting, Council gave first reading to the proposed Clean Energy Improvement Tax Bylaw. Council Rudd requested rewording to subsection 4.5 for clarity. Subsection 4.5 was revised and broken out to subsection 4.5 and 4.6. Are there any questions?
Any questions arising? Councillor Rudd?
Yeah, not from that, thank you, Blake.
Yeah.
But from the, I just wondered if we had, or if you had considered, once this bylaw becomes effective, what a communication plan would look like to get the information out to the community. And it's my understanding that looking at this, the annual repayment plan. So if a person's taxes are being done on a monthly basis, then is that just an adjustment at the monthly, or is that fee still owing at the end? Thank you.
I think we would have to get clarification with AMSC on that, but as a communication plan, we would work closely with them to convey all this information to the general public. But at this time, we haven't started on any sort of communication plan. One step at a time, you betcha.
All right, thank you. Councillor Becker?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Asked and answered by Council Rudd and Blake, so thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other further questions? So we're prepared to make the first required motion. Councillor McLean?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that council give second reading to proposed clean energy improvement tax bylaw 15-2022 at this meeting.
Thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimous, thank you. So I'm prepared to make the next motion. Councillor Bruin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Really excited about this. I think it's going to help a lot of people with older homes be able to fix them up and be able to justify the cost a little better. So I'll be happy to make the third and final reading. Council gives third and final reading to the proposed clean energy improvement tax bylaw 15-2022 at this meeting.
Thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously, thank you. On to item 7, action items, item 7.1, appointment of assessment review board members and review board clerk. Mr. Tebow.
Looks like Donna Wise has made it to the podium, and any questions or explanation will come from there.
Ms. Wise?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Administration is just looking for appointment of members to our assessment review board. We have 3 appeals right now. It may go to an actual appeal, it may be settled, but we don't know that yet.
All right, Councillor Rudd?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of questions. Can I get an explanation of the difference between 460.11 and 460.12 of the Municipal Government Act? What they're talking about there, Donna, is the review board committee and a composite review board committee. And I wondered if what we have here performs both those functions, whatever they may be. Okay, so when it comes, and there must be some tipping point where that occurs?
If it's non-residential, it's a composite review board. If it's residential,
Yeah, well, it's just a review board, so yeah, so you knew that. So,
we do have 3 non-residential appeals.
right, so, then, these names that are on here then, did I read correctly here that we had, that we contract that?
We go through benchmark with our assessor. So
Are they,
Wendy is our clerk.
right,
Yeah, we do contract through benchmark. And then
so those names on there then are benchmark people?
they're not. They're actually using numbers from the Lethbridge
Okay, that's clear then. So, and Wendy has got those clerk qualifications that the bylaw asks for, 4.2. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Donna.
All right, thank you, Councillor Becker.
It's okay, Mr. Mayor.
All right,
Good job.
thank you. All right. All right, so someone, Councillor Sorensen.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I was
That's right.
prepared to make that motion.
Absolutely.
So I recommend that council appoints the following members to the assessment review board as listed. And then that council also appoints Wendy Smith as the assessment review board clerk.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. On to item 7.2, Resignation Recreation Board. Mr. Tebow.
Ms. Van Ham can speak to this one.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. So we
Good afternoon.
received a resignation from Danielle Hansen for the Recreation Board, and she's wanting to effect that as of the end of the year and not do another additional term. But she is willing to and happy to fulfill her obligation until that time.
All right, thank you. Any questions arising? Councillor Bruin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm very sad to see Danielle leave the Recreation Board. We'll miss her there. She's been very, very good at the job there, and she's done a lot of good for the town. So I regretfully make the motion that council accepts the resignation of Danielle Hansen from the Tier Recreation Board effective December 31st, 2022, with regret, and that council wishes Ms. Hansen the best in any future endeavors.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 7.3, standing item council request. Mr. Tebow.
Okay, I'll run through the existing list. We are still waiting on the 864 fence information. It narrowly missed this agenda, so it will certainly be on the next one. Item number 2 on there was addressed earlier in 5.1 today, which we'll take away. Councillor Sorensen, speaking to the signs, we are working on something. One of the alternatives that administration is going to bring forward is more than just a sign, so we'll touch on that next time around. Working on the painting of the gateway sign, the husk to be green. We did initiate a change order, and we're just waiting to hear back on the cost for that, so nothing in this meeting just yet for that one. And there has been some correspondence back and forth from the Public Works Group and myself on Councillor Sorensen's request for 53rd Street and 64th Avenue, so we don't have any solid answers to provide at this point, but it is being worked on. And that's all those items. Oh, maybe Gary's got something.
All right, thank
If I
you,
could just
Mr. Chair.
ask clarification on the last point, is it 64th Avenue or 66th Avenue? Because we did 64th and 53rd all the way up to 56th. That ditch on 64th was done. So Mr. Lehiji's been talking to the owner of the property that's on 66th Avenue. I just wanted some clarification.
Sorry, I must have made an error and it must be 66 then.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I mean, as long as we don't.
All right, yeah. Thank you. Any other standing item council requests? Councillor McLean?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just had a question. I've had a few questions about what's going on at the water treatment plant, and people are just curious as to what's happening with that sludge/dirt in the backfield that's getting dumped there. Anyways, so I just was curious as to...
Maintenance.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's what I've been saying. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're just cleaning it out and maintaining
So what we
it.
did is we dewatered the north raw water cell and we cleaned it out because there was some organic matter in there. So what you're seeing in there is just basically wet clay and a little bit of organics, and
Yeah.
it went very well. And we should be in the process of refilling here in the next week or two.
Awesome. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Councillor Rudd.
Just have a follow-up question to that.
Exactly, sure.
Yeah, what are our plans with that dirt, Gary?
Some we're gonna haul down to the landfill, but some we will spread out in the area because it is a low area.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that, because it actually
Yeah.
looks like pretty good dirt.
A lot of it is good dirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's good, it looks really good.
Right, thank you. Councillor Rudd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first opportunity we've had as a meeting as a council since Mr. Tebow completed his first year of service in his position as CAO. And I would like to make a motion that we congratulate Mr. Tebow on successfully completing his first year of service with Tabor, and that council is pleased with the performance and supports Mr. Tebow in his efforts.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion, comments? All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? Oh, sorry, Councillor Brown.
I'm sorry, I'll just echo what Councillor Rudd said. I'm very happy with the job Dan's done, and we're lucky to have him.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mine's for a future standing item.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. All right. All right. And I would also like to echo that. Congratulations, Mr. Tebow. Happy to have you here. Absolutely. Mr. Tebow.
All that speaking, I didn't want to say nothing, so I appreciate the opportunity. I've enjoyed my year, and it'll be great giving yourselves another year as per my term. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And once again, we do have a motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. And you had another stand item council request?
Just if I
Councillor
could speak with Gary and just ask, there was a low spot on 60th Avenue and 52nd Street. I was just wondering if there's any comment in regards to that low spot?
Yes, so Mr. Lahiji met with the concerned resident on the ponding, and she understands that it's slow draining and everything else. But what she's looking for is an actual storm system to be dug into the roads so that it doesn't pond in that area. So the ponding is not so much ponding, it is slow drainage. So after everything drains, there's no puddle, there's nothing, it just goes slow. So he's been talking to her, so the issue is it drains from the south to this intersection, drains from the west, and drains from the north. So 3 different ways into one intersection. It has to have time to drain. So for us to look at it and for the project, and we've already established that could be a $3 to $5 million project in the future. That might be something we'll bring forward, but it's down the road, that's for sure. But we have looked into that.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Sorensen.
Okay, I just want to thank administration for looking into that and addressing the residents' concerns, and hopefully we can mediate some type of solution in the future then.
So she did not like our answer, and she's going to be writing a letter to council requesting this infrastructure be installed, but we'll deal with that later on.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? Any other stand item council requests? All right. With that, no further motion required. Moving on to department reports. All right, I will read them off individually. If you have any questions, please stop me accordingly. First up would be Planning and Community Service Department reports. CAO report. Engineering and Public Works report. Treatment Facilities Department report. Fire Department report. Councillor Rudd.
Yeah, that seems to be out of order from what I have listed here, so I just want to add a couple of questions under economic development for our foreign workers program. Is there a start date?
It has started, actually.
So
2 weeks ago, correct?
Okay,
We're
and
2 weeks into it, yeah.
And there was an individual hired? Yeah, so can we get to meet them someday? Okay. And as well, I'd like to congratulate Amy on her successes with the university with the programs she's taking there, and she's doing a good job. And we appreciate her improving herself professionally to serve us. Thank you, and congratulations to her. And a tip of the hat to arts and culture as well, with all the activities going on around the town this summer. I enjoyed seeing all the activities and made Tabor look like actually a fun place to be with all the things that were happening and going on. It seemed like every time you go out, there was something taking place and posters up for events and such. So it was, I really think they did a great job in arts and culture, and appreciate that and thank them for it. And then one question for Public Works, and that was on the setup for the temporary power for the Versette Hockey School and training camp. So are there any fees paid by the school or by the users in the parking lot? Do we have a schedule for that?
I think that's more for recreation. They acquire those fees, but you mean for camping there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they charge some money, yes.
Yeah, they do. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Sorensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Looks like for our fire department, our fire chief is very busy. And so I was wondering, he says here, please feel free to do a risk assessment of the town. I was wondering if you could explain what that is. And
Yeah, if you're comfortable doing that, Chief Munshaw, please do.
Welcome, thank you, and thank you for allowing me to come up. So I've seen some of you guys up at the AM conference last week as I was wearing the hat of the Alberta Fire Chiefs, representing that very thing. It's a tool risk assessment for communities. That allows you to go in and do an assessment of your community, determine its needs and structure for an emergency response need. That allows you to identify if the fire department emergency services is up to that standard, what they're needing, and what your community is needing as well. It allows it to work throughout their provinces, and we built it actually on a platform that can work in North America and around any place that established NFPA or work safe standards. So right now we're in works with moving it forward with areas like Safety Code Council and the Office of Fire Commissioner.
well, it's a great thing to have, I think, everybody regulated, like we discussed in the past. And I just also wanted to know, I see you are building a trade show. Where is that going to be held?
Yeah, that's our Southern Alberta Fire Training Conference, which is being held for the last 18 years in Lethbridge. It hosts about 100 different firefighters that come in throughout different provinces for a 3-day event and learning capacity. It's usually dealt with or handled over at the Coast Hotel in Lethbridge. And that's where it's been for the last about 10 years now.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Rudd. All right, fair enough. All right, anything else for the fire department report at all? Okay, before you sit up. All right, thank you, Chief. Next is the HR department report. Councillor Rudd?
Well, I did have a question, sorry, on the wastewater, noting that there's a review of the wastewater collection pipes in the downtown area and the need of relining, and talking about making it a capital budget item. And so I'm just concerned over the urgency of that, if that's something that's going to sneak up on us right away, or
No, it'll be for your budget consideration for next year.
next year?
Yes.
And is that,
We have cameras on all the sanitary pipes down there, and there are some deficiencies, cracks, things like that. And they'll last a few more months, that's fine. And we just need to reline them next year. That should give them another 10 to 20 years of life.
yeah, so a few months, that's
Yeah, that's fine.
urgent. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. On to the, sorry, did I say HR department report? Nothing further? All right, thank you. Finance department report? Administrative service report? All right, thank you. Seeing nothing further, no motion required. Any other questions whatsoever? We're good to move on, all right? We're on to mayor and council reports. Councillor Beckering, you can start us off, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended all the meetings I'm required to attend. Also attended the annual AMA conference in Calgary last week for 3.5 days, I guess, 4 days. It was a good conference and learned something, and it was a good time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor McLean?
I have attended most all of my meetings that I have ever been required to. I don't really have anything to report. I'm excited to be on the Zoom call tomorrow with the public health minister. Be good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as I sat on the committee for the CAO review, I just wanted to congratulate Darren on a good review, and thank you for all of your efforts this year. I also sat on the JEDC monthly meeting, and they're thinking about bringing breakfast brunches back, and they're talking about the membership of the Veterans Highway, and just hoping that we can start those meetings again. So I'm not sure who sits on that, but we can look forward to that invite again. Police Commission I sat in, and we're working on the budget for next year. And then I also attended the conference in Calgary last week.
All right, thank you. Councillor Rudd?
Well, as I surprised everyone by returning from my vacation, that's what I was doing since the last
Okay.
council meeting. Thank you.
Fair enough, thank you. Councillor Bruin?
Yes, I attended all the meetings I was able to. I was up in Calgary at the Alberta Municipalities Convention. It was very good. We met with Darren Davidson from Department of Transportation, which was interesting. We didn't learn much more than we already have known. Things are on track there for next year, so that's good. Highway 3 executive meetings, I've attended those as well, and looking forward to some dirt moving next year.
All right, thank you. For myself, I attended a variety of meetings, met with Mr. Tebow a number of occasions as well, dealt with document signing as required. It's been a very busy month overall. I did attend the Wonders of Wizardry and put on by the town of Tabor and the Arts and Heritage Committee headed by Emily Hembroff. Did a very good job there. I believe, as I understand, we're probably going to have that as an annual event. Is that correct, Mr. Tebow?
It's quite possible, yes.
It went over very well, so great job, and thanks to all the volunteers that were involved with that as well. I was also very happy to attend the Japanese Consul General farewell. Not so much because of the farewell, but just happy to keep those great relations going. And unfortunately, he's only been here a year and a half, so that's a fairly short window compared to the usual 4-year term. We will have a new Consul General coming in within the month. Also attended the Queen Elizabeth II Memorial Service at the Cenotaph, as put on by the Royal Canadian Legion number 20 branch. That was a very well done event, very well attended as well. I also attended the Smile Cookie event at the Tim Hortons for Tabor District Housing. All the funds are going to TDH for that purpose, and that ran the whole week this year. So I don't know the exact total just yet, but I believe it went over very well. I also spent some time with our famous corn ladies over on 54th and 47th Ave, and happy to be alongside them and seeing how they work their magic, and they're very popular, and they did another great job. That would be Miss Lolly Turner and Shelley Perini. So great job on their behalf, and always happy to see them with their many efforts and dedications any given year. With that would be the end of my report, and we don't need any motion as a result. So moving on to item 7.6, our additional agenda item. Very pleased to announce our guest and visitor, Minister Adrian Oma from Kenya in Siaya County, the governor's office. Adrian has been here for the better part of the week, I believe, spent some time at the AMA conference. And I would certainly welcome you to come on up, Minister Oma, and say a few words. And thank you so much for being here.
His Worship the Mayor, the councillors, and the administrative staff. I bring you greetings from Kenya. I'm not so new to Tiba. I'd been here before in 2018 as part of the delegation that came from Kenya, the county of Siaya, and we were led by the governor, who has since completed his constitutional term of office, and we have a new governor who has inherited our cooperation and goodwill. And him and the people of the Republic of Kenya send you greetings. And on their behalf, I wish to state here that we are happy with the cooperation and the MOU that we had since signed with you. And as part of that MOU, I was invited to Calgary to attend the Alberta Municipalities Conference, courtesy on behalf of the people of Tiba by His Worship the Mayor. I have been around from 21st of this month, and I attended sessions of the conference. As part of sharing and enhancing the cooperation between the people of Siaya and people of Tiba, I did share with other municipalities and towns and village councils, and we shared several experiences, and I did gain a lot as a person on the operations across not only in Tiba, because at that time we visited Tiba, Lethbridge, but we were majorly focusing on water and wastewater. And this time round, we went ahead to learn about the operations and the challenges that are facing the towns and municipalities here. And I did share also what we have back in Kenya. Major issues that came out from that particular conference was that there are a lot of skills and labor that come from outside that assist towns and municipalities here to run. And they are never retained within the towns for those who come from outside. And some towns informed me that they were merging. They were in the process of merging because they can no longer have enough staff, both skilled and laborers, to run operations of their towns. And when I did a report back to the governor and the people of Siaya, they did ask me to talk to the town of Tiba through its council, that if it is okay, because the county of Siaya has a lot of vocational training centers that produce skilled labor in carpentry, welding, plumbing, that can also assist, enhance this collaboration to a bigger level. And they had asked me the model, and I did tell them, when I shared with the councils and the towns and the councillors, they did tell me that indeed they get laborers, immigrant laborers from outside the country that come into their towns. But the laborers in the setup of the immigration system leave Tiba and other smaller towns for bigger cities. Hence, you cannot predict labor market. Some shops can close, some factories can close, and indeed even some towns don't have the technical skill staff that can run the towns to make them livable and predictable in terms of business setup. So they did ask me if the council, through the mayor, could consider enhancing the cooperation towards exchange of skilled labor. Where you have advantage, like in wastewater, you could send for us the technicians, which we take care of in Siaya, to train our people on wastewater and build capacity of our people. And have an enhanced MOU where skilled labor from Kenya and specifically Siaya can come to Tiba on a specified period of time for around 5-6 years, where they can only work in Tiba and go back and transfer the technical skills they learn here. With that, Tiba can have stability in terms of technical skills and also labor. SIA can also gain from the technical skill that the staff in the wastewater department can help us down there to improve our systems. Indeed, in the area of solid waste management, we did ask that the council of the town of Tiba help us with the garbage truck to enhance our capacity with Bondo. I came after the conference to inspect one of the garbage trucks and did report back that it is feasible, that indeed if the council accepts, you can donate for us one of the garbage trucks. And this morning I also visited the fire department to assess the capability, and we shared a lot. The town that you signed the MOU with in Sierra County, that is Bondo, where the garbage truck may be headed, has a population that does not have fire disaster management system or equipment. But the whole county is served by one fire engine. We are a population of 1 million people, and that is inadequate. And we were asking if it is possible as part of the MOU that if one time you have a fire engine that you may not be using, you can kindly donate for us as part of the fire disaster management. I have an experience before of working for City of Kisumu before I moved to Siaya. We built the capacity. I headed fire department, I headed water, was Gary of the City of Kisumu. So when I'm in a county that ran 2 towns, that is Siaya and Bondo, without fire disaster capability, I feel worried. And the cooperation came in timely, and the people of Siaya, when I told them I'd inspected the garbage truck that could be donated, they were very happy. And they will wish that the graduates that come from our institution, because they are the counties, has devolved, the country has devolved to the counties, technical certification and skills development. The skilled laborers in Kenya are semi-mechanized. While here, all skilled laborers, be it carpenters, mechanics, are fully mechanized. As part of that technical cooperation, if we could have that program tied to skilled workers where they could gain experience here, stabilize the labor market here for 5-6 years, impart back the skill back to Siaya so that we enhance this cooperation to a bigger level. The new governor looks forward to more areas of collaboration and wishes the people of Tiba a good time, livable town, and a prosperous town. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Minister Roma. Appreciate that. I just want to thank you so much for being here as well. And as Minister Omo said, he's definitely not new to Tabor, but certainly welcome anytime. And we appreciate you being here and all you've done. And particularly myself and Mr. John Orwa, how much we enjoyed the visit and the tours, the many tours, and just how well you looked after us, yourself and the governor's office, and anybody else involved with the tours and presentations that we were part of. We've reported to council about that previously, but now that we've got you here, I just want to say that officially to you, and I thank you so much, and very well done, and look forward to collaborative efforts in the future. Thank you.
Just before I forget His Worship the Mayor, the governor did ask me that since you had done the visit to the county, and I've also come, you would wish that even members of the council and the administrative staff, when you have holidays under your individual capacities, you are welcome to Siaya. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Councillor Becker?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a comment also, if I may. Mr. Oma, I met you twice now, and I'm very impressed with your directness and your ability to read read the room. Your speech just now was very impassioned in my view, and I think you made several requests so that we can further accommodate each other and cooperate with each other. And I'm sure that this council will be discussing in the near future, and if you're going to be twinning with each other, for Pete's sake, let's help each other. So, thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councillor Beckering. I think actually two things. Number one, I know myself and Mr. Scheer and Mr. Oro had some discussion with the garbage truck donation that was suggested by way of motion some time back, but I don't believe it was a clear enough motion. So I think we might have missed that, Mr. Tebow. So I don't know. Have you had any discussion yourself with anybody on that note?
Not to the point of getting
Okay.
to a motion where we would be gaining the clarity that we were after. No.
I'm just wondering if it's not too daunting for anybody to take care of something that we can maybe look over in closed session, probably have something a little clearer and more clarification based compared to the original motion that was out there, because I think that's where the area, Mr. Scheer, is that correct? It's a little bit gray area?
That's correct. You don't actually say you donate this truck to Sierra County. You just said, look at the feasibility of shipping it there.
Yeah, so I mean, we can do a motion on the fly, but I think I'd rather have something, if all council is available and or on board with that, to just have administration compare that original motion and then maybe with a brief recommendation. We have some time, I think we can deal with that in closed for a brief discussion and or come out by way of motion in the open session to cover all those requirements, if that's fair and reasonable. Mr. Tebow?
Yeah, administration will endeavor to build something in that time frame.
All right, thank you. Like I said, we did have some discussion Friday, but you weren't in on that when we were there, so so that may be my fault for not following up with that initially, but we were pretty busy Friday, right, guys? With other things there, but hopefully we can make that work and have that dealt with today, so everybody's comfortable with that and favorable for Minister Oma and Sayah County as well. And secondly, I believe, do we have a flag presentation requirement here, or request rather?
First is the flag of Kenya. Yes. No, there's no problem. There's no problem.
Oh, sure.
Get out.
Not that we don't want you in the photo. The lobby will do.
Yeah, county flag. So we have 3 flags.
Wow.
Yes.
Canada, Alberta, and Taber.
Exactly.
3 flags for Kenya and 1 for.
Bondo, right?
No, the Bondo is a new municipality. We'll send the flag.
All right, well, thank you so much, Minister Oma, and we will most certainly display those appropriately. And thank you once again, appreciate that. That's okay. And I think just for clarification, we'll maybe wait till the end of the meeting, but Minister Adrian Omot requested a picture with all of council as well here at some point here. So I'm sure we can accommodate if you don't mind waiting just a little bit here. Thank you, sir. All right, we're on to item 8.1, long service volunteers. Do we have our guests here? Well, actually, it's technically, but they were going to be here early apparently. So that was my understanding. Do we have an actual time that we're going to be here? They're going to be here. Mr.
They had mentioned potentially 10 minutes early, so
Okay,
they're
all right.
a little ways out yet.
All right. So with that, we can take care of any media inquiries just yet.
There is none.
No media inquiries. All right. With that, could we could I ask for a motion to move to a recess to 4:45, preparing for our long service volunteers attendance? Councillor Rudd.
I'll give that motion, Mr. Mayor, that we adjourn until 4:45.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously.
into closed session.
Motion to table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Can we be? Okay. All right, Counselor Becker, in item 10.1, that would be your motion.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion that council authorizes addendum 3 to the lease agreement with the Tabor and District Chamber of Commerce as presented for a portion of Block C-D, Plan 7282JK, civic address of 4702 50th Street, Tabor, Alberta.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, and we are still waiting on one guest, I believe. All right, thank you, folks, for being here. We're just waiting on one to attend. Well, thank you, Wanda. It is, yeah. It is, Councilor Becker, yes. Just coincidental, actually, that way, but. Yes, you did. No, let's not get too carried away here. But thank you anyway.
I was going to mention a standing item.
I was kind of half expecting you might, actually, but yeah, it seems to me you've done that before.
Yes, I forgot.
Not even close. That's right. Age is a number, right? Maybe do this first. Just maybe do this first instead of having her wait. Sorry. Just maybe do this first instead of having her wait. Well, it's supposed to be about 4:45. Yeah, I guess.
I'd eat. Why so late?
Just wonder, Councillor Becker, would you mind doing a short motion for brief adjournment until our other guest is here?
You bet, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting for 7 minutes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Pickering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move to go back and do, reconvene the meeting.
All right. Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, we're on to item 8.1, 2021 Long Service Volunteers Awards. Mr. Tebow.
So, Mr. Tebow, we'll turn this back over to council for some presentation materials, which is typical of long-standing service awards for volunteers.
All right, thank you. And we have Miss Wanda Osborne Campbell here today, along with Mr. Jeff Brunch. And for Wanda, this is your 9-year service with the Police Commission. Correct. Very impressive. We thank you so much for your service, very dedicated service, and also for Mr. Jeff Brunch for your 3 years of service, both with the Recreation Board and the Arts and Heritage Committee. We thank you so much for your service as well, sir. All right. I'll just ask Ms. Wanda Osborne to come up first, and I'll have a presentation for you as well.
Wanda, you and I had a little crossover as well, so I appreciated everything that you did when I was hanging around there too, bringing that freshness to the room.
That's a good one, Al. Yeah, get the picture with that.
Take one without
All right. Thank you all again for attending, and appreciate your service so much. All right. With that, just asked to move back into closed session. Councillor Sorensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to move into closed session.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor?